Hey Raylee, and anybody else watching, and welcome back to another message from your father. Numbers 12 and 13 today. So we've been looking at yesterday the silver trumpets. We looked at the Israelites leaving Sinai, and then we saw quail from God. Again, God drove in all those quail from the ocean, or from, what does it say? From the sea. So we looked at I think 3 feet deep of quail as far as the eye could see. So that's, again, just this supernatural move of God providing for his people. Today we're going to look again at 12 and 13, which has a couple different things, and both themes of these stories aren't really popular in our culture today. So we'll take a look at that. And what those are is Miriam and Miriam and Aaron opposing Moses, and then also the exploration and the report out of Canaan and what the Israelites found when looking at the land of Canaan. Again, Canaan is where the Israelites were told, hey, this is the land that God is giving you. So they're scoping out the land, and we'll see the response that they have. All of that in chapters 12 and 13. So starting with chapter 12. Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife, for he had married a Cushite. Has the Lord spoken only through Moses, they asked. Hasn't he also spoken through us? And the Lord heard this. Now, Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. At once the Lord said to Moses, Aaron and Miriam, come out to the tent of meeting, all three of you. So the three of them came out. And then the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud. He stood at the entrance to the tent and summoned Moses and Miriam. When both of them stepped forward, he said, listen to my words. When a prophet of the Lord is among you, I reveal myself to him in visions. I speak to him in dreams. But this is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him, I speak face to face, clearly and not in riddles. He sees the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? The anger of the Lord burned against them, and he left them. When the cloud lifted from above the tent, there stood Miriam, leprous like snow. Aaron turned towards her and saw that she had leprosy, and he said to Moses, please, my Lord, do not hold against us the sin we have so foolishly committed. Do not let her be like a stillborn infant coming from its mother's womb, with its flesh half eaten away. So Moses cried to the Lord, O Lord God, please heal her. The Lord replied to Moses, if her father had spit in her face, would she not have been in disgrace for 7 days? Confine her outside the camp for 7 days. After that, she can be brought back. So Miriam was confined outside the camp for 7 days, and the people did not move on till she was brought back. After that, the people left Hazeroth and encamped in the desert of Paran. Chapter 13. The Lord said to Moses, send some men to explore the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. From each ancestral tribe, send one of its leaders. So, at the Lord's command, Moses sent them out from the desert of Paran. All of them were leaders of the Israelites. These are their names. From the tribe of Reuben, Shemua, son of Zakur. From the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, son of Hori. From the tribe of Judah, Caleb, son of Jephunneh. From the tribe of Issachar, Igal, son of Joseph. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea, son of Nun. From the tribe of Benjamin, Palti, son of Rapau. From the tribe of Zebulun, Gaddiel, son of Sodi. From the tribe of Manasseh, a tribe of Joseph, Gadai, son of Susi. From the tribe of Dan, Amiel, son of Gamali. From the tribe of Asher, Sethur, son of Michael. From the tribe of Naphtali, Nabbi, son of Vopsi. From the tribe of Gad, Guel, son of Maki. These are the names of the men Moses sent to explore the land. Moses gave Hoshea, son of Nun, the name Joshua. When Moses sent them to explore Canaan, he said, go up through the Negev and onto the hill country. See what the land is like and whether the people who live there are strong or weak, few or many. What kind of land do they live in? Is it good or bad? What kind of towns do they live in? Are they walled or fortified? How is the soil? Is it fertile or poor? Are there trees in it or not? Do your best to bring back some of the fruit of the land. It was the season for the first ripe grapes. So they went up and explored the land, from the desert of Zin as far as Rehob, towards Lebo Hamath. They went through the Negev and came to Hebron, where Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmi, the descendants of Anak, lived. Hebron had been built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. When they reached the valley of Eshcol, they cut off a branch bearing a single cluster of grapes. 2 of them carried it on a pole between them, along with some pomegranates and figs. That place was called the valley of Eshcol because of the cluster of grapes the Israelites cut off there. At the end of 40 days, they returned from exploring the land. They came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the desert of Paran. There, they reported to them and to the whole assembly and showed them the fruit of the land. They gave Moses this account. We went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruit. But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the Negev. The Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country. And the Canaanites live near the sea along the Jordan. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." But the men who had gone up with him said, "We can't attack these people. They are stronger than we are." And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, "The land we explored devours those living in it. The people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there." The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. So both of these stories, I said they weren't popular. The themes of them aren't popular in society today. And I think that's very true. The theme of humility with the first story with Moses and Miriam and Aaron, and recognizing the pride that Aaron and Miriam had, saying, "Hey, doesn't God also speak to us? It's not just Moses. What about us? We're great too." So the humility of Moses put alongside their pride, and looking at the difference there. And then in here, the idea of obedience and how important that is. And we see Joshua saying, "We can do this." He knows that he has God on his side. But we'll see where the story goes, and I don't want to spoil anything too big if you're not familiar with what happens directly after this. But the ramifications of this moment are immense. And I think it's hard to know exactly how much our pride distances us from God and how much that disobedience separates us from what God intends. And that is a lifelong thing that you fight against. But my prayer for you, Raylee, is that you don't go along with society being prideful and arrogant, or prideful and at the same time taking a safe route even and going along with what everybody else says. Your life should look different if you're following Christ. Just as Joseph's life looked different, he's saying, "We can do this." Or Joshua, we can do this. I know that we can do this because we have God. That's what sets him apart. So that's my prayer for you, is that you recognize that you go through life humble and obedient. And that's not going to be popular, but that's exactly what God calls us to be. And there is so much wisdom in that life. Anyway, know that I love you so much, and I'm praying for you. And anyone else watching, I appreciate you so much as well. All right, we will plan on seeing you tomorrow. Have a good one.